Today, we will be talking about a very strange case which was turning out to be the almost perfect crime, but focus on the word almost. It is 1980. 4-year-old Lalana is living with her 8-year-old brother and her parents, Bill and Marlene. To the outside, their family seems very happy, but a lot was going on inside their household. Both Marlene and Bill used to have arguments every other day, and their home was turning out to be a scary place for their kids. In the early summer of 1980, Bill meets a 28-year-old man, Glenn, who is hired as a regular handyman for the family. Sooner, Glenn becomes a very close friend of the family, and sooner Glenn would give something to the police, which would help uncover a 17-year-old cold case. The tension between Bill and Marlene was rising day by day, and on 12th of October, Marlene decides to take her children from the house, away from Bill. What was going to happen on this day will completely ruin Lalana and his brother's childhood. On 13th October, Glenn files a police report of missing Marlene, and after that, the police start the search for Marlene. They go to Bill's house where he said that she just drove away last night to meet her lover Glenn. Days went by, but the police still do not have anything that could possibly lead to finding Marlene. For the police, Glenn was a major suspect as well because Bill's story was completely believable, whereas Glenn had an unusual appearance which made him the prime suspect. However, despite several interrogations, Glenn was determined to find Marlene as he was in love with her. So he gave Marlene's diary to the police in case it helps them to find anything about Marlene. In the diary, there were multiple records of the fact that Marlene was frightened by Bill, and she also wrote that one day she said to Bill that she would kill him if he ever raises his hand on the children. But according to the court, a diary is not sufficient evidence against anyone. Thus, despite having the diary, police couldn't do anything. Days went by, but to no avail. Since the police now didn't have anything further to do in this case, they decided to let both men go home. Later, Bill decided to shift to a different city, along with his children. For the children, it was becoming a nightmare as they realized that their mother is not coming back. A year later, their father Bill finally gave them the explanation to the question, "Where is their mother?" He said that their mother was the alcoholic prostitute who ran away with some other men and is never going to come back. Lalana was still 5-year-old at that time, and for her to fully grasp the situation was almost impossible. Months gone by, and whenever the children ask their father where will their mother is coming back, Bill gets enraged and often beat his children. 3 years went by, and Bill's behavior toward his children was becoming more and more violent. He used to beat Donald, Lalana's brother, to the point where he could no longer stand up on his own. He used to threat the children, using the words, "If you do not do what I am telling you to do, I would kill your sister or brother." He used the children's emotions for each other. Things got worse to the point where Lalana and Donald could not go to school because of the bruises on their body. Both the children learned to keep quiet about everything that was happening in their house. It was now 1985. Bill married to another woman named Pauline. Still, after the marriage, young Lalana used to keep her mouth shut. But one day, in the middle of night, Donald, who is now 13 years old at this time, comes to her younger sister and Saya. "He is not going to hurt us anymore." He further adds that he told everything to their new stepmom. And now she called the cops. At this moment, Lalana was very scared. She thought that their father would kill her if he finds about it. Few moments later, police comes and arrest Billy, and later the court sentenced Billy for 15 years behind bars for beating his children. At this time, both the children now started living with their maternal grandmother. Still, Lalana wants to know the answer to the question on where is their mom, and finally finds a perfect opportunity to ask her grandmother about this. She says, "Where is my mother? If you knew anything, please tell me." After 10 seconds of pause, her grandmother replies that her mother is dead. Bill killed her. It was a very shocking moment for her, as every hope of seeing her mother was now lost. Years went by, and on 1997, Bill was released after serving 12 years in prison, much earlier than his punishment because of his good attitude. When Lalana learned this, she knew that he would come after her, so she decided to reopen his mother's case. She went to the police and was granted permission to read her mother's diary and her mother's file. When she read the diary, she found out that her mother knew that their father was abusive and she wanted to keep her children safe from her. In his mother's file, she also finds in report staring that a man found a skull near to their household almost 3 years after her mother disappeared. But since only the top portion of skull was found and with no teeth, the police did not have any technology at that time to know whether the skull belongs to Marlene. But when Lalana reopens the case, because of improvement in technology, police could match the DNA sample from skull to the DNA of Marlene, and it was a perfect match. Now this case finally became a murder case. After this, police restarted their investigation, but still they can't arrest someone, so Lalana decides to call her father Billy to get a confession out of him. She asked Billy to tell the place where he buried their mom, and she won't tell the police to, which Billy laughs and calls Lalana crazy for asking it. Later, police decided to ask Jim, Major Bill's father, to call his son and get a confession out of him. And finally, police now have concrete evidence against Bill. Sooner, they immediately arrest Jim, and at the time of court hearing, within half an hour, the judge sends Billy for a lifelong prison behind the bars. Finally, Lalana and her brother got the justice they and their mother deserved. If you like this video, make sure you give a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more this kind of videos.